What's going on, guys? Welcome to another episode of Sidelines to Stock Lines. Renner, Mikey, Steve here. Here to talk some more ball. Got some exciting stuff. First thing, over the weekend we had the pleasure of being at the Fantasy Football Expo. So shout out to Bob, Nathan. I'm so bad with names, so I don't remember the names of everybody else on the team. But everybody did a great job. It was a very fun event. We got to meet some awesome folks, everybody from, some other apps or companies that were there as vendors. Got to talk to some consumers that were just there to see, what all was on the market. I got to talk to some influencers, so that was really cool. Really fun weekend. Definitely going to be going back next year. Had to rep the Fantasy Football Expo shirt because we're loyal supporters, man. Loved it.
Yeah, it was nice. Everyone there was ball.
Yeah,
talking ball.
It was a blast, man.
It was interesting talking to some of these people that are like extreme diehards and hearing their stories of how they got into fantasy football and how long. Like some of these guys were saying back in the 70s.
I know.
With pen and paper, their buddies were doing it. It's interesting to hear the stories from these guys.
Yeah, it was great connections too. Like we got to meet a bunch of people. People were excited about the app. F2MX coming out here soon, so make sure you're checking out the Google Play Store and the App Store to make sure you guys are downloading that, and again, subscribing to our channel, checking us out every week. You might see some different things as we come, but it's all for the better, and we're growing, so that's all that matters, right?
Yeah, for sure. Right now we're planning for a launch around August 12th, so plenty of time for you to get your buddies on board and get some leagues started. I don't know if we talked about it in the last episode, but also a little thing about the expo. So we were planning on shooting a podcast while we were actually at the event, at the table that we had set up. But between some of the sessions and panels they had going on behind us and just the craziness of the floor, there was just so much energy in there, and it was just loud. It was awesome, right? But we kind of decided, we were like,
there was no way it not a good time to do podcasts.
We had basketballs coming right next to us, so you might have saw a basketball fly in the shot or something like that. But all in all, we took a lot of good things away from it, minus not being able to shoot the podcast.
Yeah. But anyways, something cool that we have talked about and we're going to develop for the launch of the app. So we're actually going to run. Name is pending, right? But we're going to call it the 10K Ballers League, right? So this is going to be a season-long league. We're actually going to start at week 2. Week 1, we're going to do something a little bit different. It's going to be just a 1-week exclusive league. We'll give people a week to play around with the app and get comfortable with it before we migrate into the big prize pool league. So anyways, like I said, it's a $10,000 prize pool league. It's a public league. It's free entry. As soon as you get into the app, you can jump right in. You just got to be in there by week 2 of the NFL season, and you're good to go. First place is going to get $5,000, second place is going to get $3,000, and third place is going to get $2,000. So, we're not talking VC here. We're talking cold hard cash. So it's free. There's no reason not to at least sign up, give it a try, and see if you can win some cash. So
right. That's exciting. That should be fun. That's going to be a competitive. Your heart's going to be racing.
Yes.
Going for that first, second, or third place.
And if you happen to be at the expo, stay tuned, because at the end of the episode. Do we want to do it at the end, or should we just go ahead and do it now?
Let's rip it right now.
Let's rip it right now? Yeah. All right. Give me one moment to get the good old screen recording going.
So if you were at the expo, you had a chance to sign up to win this Cam Hayward signed picture and the Jerome Bettis signed football. And it was an expo exclusive to all our expo goers out there. So make sure that you guys tune in. Like we said, like and subscribe to our channel. Check us out. We're going to be giving away these to one lucky guest of the expo, so we'll get right to it.
Let's rip it, man.
Dun, 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 dun.
Yeah, I was gonna say, let's get a drum roll or something in here. Woo! Christopher Owens. All right, Christopher, we have your email. So we will reach out to you tonight or tomorrow morning. Obviously, get your address when you know where we're mailing this to. But congratulations, Christopher. You have just won this awesome Jerome Bettis signed football and Cam Hayward signed jersey picture. So,
And
cool. Round of applause for Christopher.
shout out to Chris too. Chris does a lot of great things and actually promotes F2MX a lot on his social. So thanks a lot, Chris.
Awesome. All right, fellas. Anything else, or are we ready to jump in?
You guys were just on a podcast.
Yes.
We have a couple more podcasts, scheduled of people that are going to be on. So
Good point. Yes. So Mikey and I were just, what was it? It was yesterday, I think? Tuesday.
Yep.
Getting my days running together. We got a lot of stuff going on. Anyways, Tuesday we had the pleasure of being on Todd Bailey's podcast. He's the founder of Extreme Fantasy Football, a similar app to what we're doing, but actual gameplay wise, they're both very different. I actually have his app installed on my phone, created my account, so I'm going to jump into a league for that just because, I'm just a fantasy fan, man. I love to see any format that's out there, right? So we had a great time chopping it up with him on his podcast. So, definitely check out Extreme Fantasy Football. We're stoked to have that relationship with those guys. And then as far as having guests on our show, we were actually originally supposed to have Ben Oppenheimer from Monster Leagues, another very cool app. I got to meet him at FSGA. He was at Fantasy Football Expo, right? Like Steve said, super cool dude. We were supposed to record with him today. He had a little family thing come up. Nothing too serious, nothing bad or anything like that. Actually good stuff. I don't like disclosing people's personal lives, but anyways. So we had to reschedule, but that should be coming next week, right? So, we got a few other guests in the pipeline. So we're gonna have some banger shows coming out here in the coming weeks.
Yeah, and absolutely. So one thing we want you guys to do too is check out our Sellout Crowds. Sellout Crowds was the title sponsor of the Fantasy Football Expo. Great people run Sellout Crowds. We met him a couple times. Tyler's a really good dude. So check out Sellout Crowds. It's basically a Facebook for sports. You don't get any of the BS of thirst traps or anything like that. Strictly sports. So check it out if you're a big sports fan and follow F2MX on there because we're going to be growing that every week.
Yeah, man, that's going to be... I was just gonna say that's gonna be like our central hub for all F2MX content. We're still gonna post on the Instagram, the TikTok, Facebook, YouTube, all that stuff. But we want to make our Sellout Crowd our central hub, right? Obviously, there will be the posts. There's more tools for engagement. As we go further down the line and the app comes out, we can we want to make that the place to release like our picks, tips and tricks for the app. So. Yeah, we're really trying to grow a community on there. Mikey's gonna have that set up, here in the coming weeks. So we're gonna really beef it up and make it something special.
Yeah, and there was, the vendors that were there, these other apps like FanCred, you had Lightning Leagues, Monster Leagues, you had League Champs, Extreme Fantasy Football, like a lot of good apps out there that are really interesting to try out and download. Just check them out. We all support each other and want to see each other grow.
Yeah, there's some of these like FanCred. That's another good one. So that's a great one that we're definitely going to want to. We're going to have more conversations with Armin, one of the founders of the app, about the strategies that we can use to best utilize it. Basically, it's an app that you can use to find other people that are playing that same fantasy football or sports app that you're playing on to either fill up your league or get into one of their leagues. So you're not trying to just randomly get in public leagues, right? It's all about
it's like LinkedIn, but for fantasy sports,
exactly.
Which is really interesting to see, people that are in the same skill level or the same mindset or want to be competitive, or someone that's just kind of like lax with their leagues,
casuals.
So you can, casuals, so you can kind of like determine who you want to reach out to or what the leagues, it's a great connecting platform for your fantasy leagues.
Absolutely. I think one of the best kind of underrated things about fantasy sports in general is just the camaraderie and the shit talking, right? We all love to talk shit, right? And you're gonna get more of that when you're in these private leagues with you and 9, 11, 15, however many other, buddies are in that league with you. So that's a great place to, find those leagues.
Yeah.
So
in the Vampire Leagues that Lightning Leagues has,
Yes.
that's going to be an interesting one to play. That'll be a fun one.
a lot of cool stuff coming down the pipeline.
Yeah.
So just brace yourselves. We got some cool guests coming on. Awesome. Anything else, or ready to jump into some news?
Let's jump into some news.
Yeah, let's jump
Awesome. So we'll just start with some contract extensions. Obviously, the big one, Jalen Carter got extended with the Eagles. I'm fairly confident he's now the highest paid defensive tackle in the league.
4 years, $152 million. Big money.
That's
Big money,
$106 million guaranteed as well.
That's
so like, he's raking it in.
Yeah, and I mean, well deserved, to be honest. I mean,
Yeah.
I feel like we always
stud.
see these big contracts come around every year for the quarterbacks, the wide receivers, the defensive ends. I mean, as of lately, in past few years, they've been getting big contracts too, but not as much with the defensive tackles. And listen, I'm an Eagles hater, all right, but Jalen Carter, he's a dog. He might be the best defensive tackle in the league. You can easily make an argument for that. I'm just trying to think of better defensive tackles right now, and I'm having a hard time thinking of them. But yeah, so congratulations to Jalen Carter for getting a big money contract.
Yeah, and again, it's changing the market. So that defensive market, it's that defensive tackle market's going to change a little bit. And that's exciting.
I want to talk about the corners real quick. So obviously, Denzel Ward, he got a 2-year extension. I think now he's getting paid. I think it's like $31 million a year, right?
It's like, the full contract was like $62.2 million or something.
Yeah, which, I mean, hey, he's a good corner, right?
Yeah.
But it really kind of complicates things when you think of the two corners that come to my mind that are also up for a new contract. You got JPJ, Pittsburgh Steeler, right? Joey Porter Jr. I haven't heard any positive news as of late about that contract. So that contract just got pushed up more. And then you got Christian Gonzalez, right, who Robert Kraft already came out and said, yeah, we offered him a contract that's going to make him the highest paid, corner in the league. So who knows? I'm thinking those guys are going to get paid. I'm thinking JPJ is probably going to get a $32, $33 million a year contract. And I mean, Gonzalez, I hate to say it as a Dolphins fan, but man, that guy's a stud. Like, if they would have just had Christian Gonzalez playing all 22 positions, during the Super Bowl, they may not have gotten absolutely blown out. I mean, he was the only guy that really did any work. Everybody else kind of sucked, right? But yeah, interesting things going on with the cornerback market.
Yeah. Another one's Chris Olave.
Yeah,
I did see that. Yeah,
Just happened.
That was like right after we got off our call earlier.
4-year, $132 million.
Yeah. 90 mil guaranteed.
Yes.
Which I like Chris Olave. It's just, obviously it's the injuries, man. I mean, one more concussion and that guy.
He's on the downhill in one more of those.
But the bonus is, for Tyler Shook, his stock's going up now, right? Because now they've solidified, at least for a 4-year contract, that they got Chris Olave.
Yeah.
Again, like Renner said, the big question mark is if he can stay healthy. But congrats to him for getting a bag.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
And then
with the contracts and stuff too, these holdout rumors, Gibbs and Bijan.
Yeah. See, I don't know.
So it's almost like how I picture that is like they're both waiting for the other one to kind of they kind of make that first move, and then they can play off of that.
Yes, because the first one's really the loser of it, right? Because the first one is going to get the highest paid contract, and then you're going to see less than a week later, okay, the second one got extended for a little bit more, right?
Yeah. So it's just it's kind of like a game.
Yeah. What do you guys think of Tampa Bay right now?
I was just about to bring that up, man. I don't know. It really seems to me, and obviously we see this all the time, where it's like, all right, right before the season. I mean, like 3 years ago or 2 years ago, like Dak got his extension, like a day or 2 days before the Cowboys' first game of the season. So this happens all the time, where it's not looking good for the quarterback and team negotiations for that contract. But I don't know. Something about this seems kind of different, that Jason Light is not going to give in and give Baker that $50+ million contract. I heard earlier today that he was offered something between like 30 and 35 a year, and he completely shut that down. So it's like, all right, he wants He wants the big money.
Big money.
Yeah.
And I mean,
and he's frustrated by it.
Yeah. You got a disgruntled quarterback going into the season. You don't really want that. That can hurt team morale going into training camp and all of that. But I mean, it's not the only one on Tampa Bay, right? Vita Vea requested a trade. Mm-hmm. So they need to pay some big guys. Vita Vea is a stud defensive tackle. Like you said, with Jalen Carter just getting his contract, I'm sure Vita wants a bigger one.
More. He might have been good with, a certain amount, but seeing this and knowing his play style and how good he is, that just bumps his, that changes his mind. Like, oh, I should be shooting for a little more.
Yeah. And I think the thing with Vita is he's a bit older than Jalen Carter too.
Yes.
So like this may be a play of like, because he did come out and say he wanted to play for a West Coast team, right? So this could be him saying, hey, trade me to the Rams, all right? Trade me to the Rams. I want another ring, or maybe, the Niners. I don't know. I know he said he wanted to be on a West Coast team.
Yeah.
So, any other contract extensions or extension rumors that we can think of? That's all that come to mind for me.
Yeah, I can't think of anymore.
Last one that I'll put out there, our boy DeAndre Hopkins is now he's a receiver coach for the Patriots. Poor guy. Hate to see it. Obviously, we just kind of talked about the holdouts going on. Are more like hold-ins, right, with Gibbs and Bijan. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens there. Injury updates. Any new injury news? The only thing I can think of is I think I saw. Actually, this was something that I saw from Legit Football. So shout out to Legit Football for this one, because I signed up for their newsletter because I'm like, yeah, obviously I want an email talking about ball news. Why wouldn't I, right? I'm pretty sure that I saw in an email that Malik Neighbors was looking good at training camp, which is so shocking, dude. Because
looking back, like I don't know how many weeks ago,
literally 2 weeks ago, when we're talking about him on the podcast, we're like, I don't know, there was that softball game where he looked pretty rough,
whipping around, looks like he's got
Yeah, he was running full speed, making some catches. I mean, there's some real good stuff coming out of training camp. I mean, obviously, as we go down through, there's some bad things coming out of training camps, but there's some good stuff out there. I was really impressed with Malik Neighbors and his recovery. So that's very optimistic.
That Giants offense, I think, could be.
Yeah.
Now that you have him, I mean, that really turns it, because like we talked before, Cam Scatterbo, he's going to be super fun to watch. Isaiah Likely could be a fun, kind of safety blanket.
I think he's going to be a hot target for Dart.
Yeah. But now that you have an alpha receiver back, and he's looking good at training camp, I mean, that's a game changer right there. I mean, if you drafted Malik, if you already had your draft for whatever, redraft leagues or best ball, or you have a startup dynasty draft, if you already had your draft and you took a flyer on him and you got him in anywhere after really like the third round, I'd say you nailed it, man. You nailed it. So
yeah.
Shout out to everybody that got Malik Neighbors on their fantasy rosters. But I'll also say, since he did get injured last year in like week 4 or 5 or 6 or something like that, limited fantasy points he got last year, it means he's going to IPO pretty low on F2MX.
Be one that I target like early.
Yeah, he's going to be an easy sleeper that you can get into F2MX pretty cheap. So make sure you guys are looking at that and taking that into account when you guys are playing the game.
Yeah, so there's your first pick, fellas.
There you go. We gave it to you.
Yes.
A couple more injuries. This, Penix out for a couple weeks due to ACL, obviously, and Tua, some back problems going on. So that's kind of what are they going to do? So 2 injuries already that are holding them out a little bit.
Yeah, that's a little scary.
That look out for the quarterback position. Yeah.
I wonder if Bijan's going to switch this from a hold-in to a trade request. Please trade me. Please trade me. Because, oh man, him, Drake London, and I will throw Kyle Pitts in there just for,
And it's sad, Kyle Pitts just got paid big too.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, and Drake London got paid big. Oh, so Bijan, poor guy.
But for fantasy purposes, I mean, you got your.
He's gonna get high volume.
He's gonna have a lot of volume with those checkdowns and that quarterback. If he's just nervous in general, third string coming in, Coop, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he was pretty decent on the Cowboys, and then we saw him play for the Ravens, and that was bad. But also, the Ravens' offense is a bit different. So, maybe he can hold, captain the ship while Penix or Tua. It's really disgusting to have to say either of those are going to become the captain of the ship, but maybe he can hold it down till one of those two guys get in there. But it's not looking good in Atlanta. That's for sure.
Yeah, that's a tough situation. Tank Dell, his knee, he's limited the first
after like
week.
584 days or something like that. My man is able to play again. So I can't wait to see clips of him come out at training camp because I love Tank Dell. I thought that he was awesome when he was on the field, years ago. But that was a pretty gruesome injury. So we'll just have to see. I would imagine, he's going to get a pretty light workload the first few weeks just to protect him. I mean, obviously you got Nico Collins. He's probably a top 10, top 12 receiver in the league. Mm-hmm. You got Jaden Higgins, I think it's his name, and Jalen Knoll, right? They were showing a little bit last year. And you got Dalton Schultz, right? So you got a pretty decent tight end as well. So
the bonus with Tank Dell, though, is Tank Dell and C.J. Stroud have great chemistry.
Yes.
Like, C.J. Stroud basically drafted Tank Dell. He went to the front office when they drafted him and was like, hey, I want to get this guy. They're really good friends. So even though they're easing into him, I could see Tank Dell still being primed for a pretty big year just with the chemistry that he has with C.J. Stroud.
Yeah.
And they paid C.J. Stroud. Talking about contracts.
Yeah. All right, I had to throw this one in there. Just because it's kind of funny, and I know you're a big Caleb Williams fan.
Oh no!
He said he lost. This is a good thing, possibly.
I did hear this.
10 to 15 pounds. He said he's feeling lighter and feeling like he's more agile. Might be running around a little bit more, a little lighter on his feet.
I'm excited. We got training camp. We got training camp talk coming up next, and I gotta talk about this. Man.
I figured. But one more thing, Ricky Pearsall.
How's he looking?
Injury again. It's his leg. It's lingering still, so there is some concerns there, which, Mike Evans now.
Yeah, but they also drafted a receiver at the top of the second round.
Well, yeah, I guess, but Mike Evans, that just opens up more targets for him too, so you're going to see a lot more volume targeted at him if Pearsall is going to be injured. Who knows how long he's out? Hasn't said, but.
Yeah, that really sucks for Ricky, man, because, when he's on the field, he's looked awesome.
Yeah, looks
but
good.
He's just gets shot, and then I think last year was maybe like a shoulder injury or something like that.
Soft tissue too. He has some soft tissue issues.
Damn. So
rough to see.
Poor Ricky Pearsall, man.
He can't.
Football gods, cut this guy a break, man. Yeah. Any other injuries, or we want to jump into training camp?
Let's jump right into training camp.
All right. So as Steve was talking about earlier, my boy Caleb, he lost some pounds, which sometimes concerns me with quarterbacks, right? But he was kind of built a little bit more like a running back than a quarterback. So I'm not gonna hate on the weight loss. Normally I would hate, but I'm not gonna hate on the weight loss. But I was hearing that at training camp. Now, granted, I don't know if this was 7-on-7, 11-on-11, but I was hearing at training camp that he was exceeding Ben Johnson's goal of 70% completions.
Yeah, so it's looking good.
Yeah, and I don't remember if he capped the day with it or if it was just the highlight of the day, but I guess he hit a 56-yard touchdown to Khalif Raymond, I think. So, he's getting that vet worked in. Man, I'm getting hyped to see this Bears offense.
Well, they got a tough schedule.
They do have a hard schedule.
Hopefully this training camp stuff carries into the season and they can, maintain that.
I also saw he had a take. He'd be a 99 overall if he gets that completion percentage up in Madden. So he's looking to bump his Madden rating up and become a 99 overall with a better completion.
So he's got goals.
Big goals.
Big goals.
Steve, you got any good ones?
Well, not really good ones.
He's got ones.
I got some, but you go ahead.
I got a good one.
Yeah.
I saw that Ashton Genty came out and cut sugar out of his diet in the offseason, lost some weight. He's looking and wants to be primed for a better year. He, being in that Raiders offense, when you got Tom Brady, you get on that TB12 diet a little bit.
Yeah.
That's going to make a difference. So he wants to be a little lighter on his feet. He said he came in a little heavy last year. So he cut Sugar out, and I think he could be primed for a big year. Upgrades to the offensive line, not the whole offensive line, but they definitely got better. So, you know, with the quarterback situation, with Cousins and Mendoza, who knows who's starting? I mean, we all think Cousins is starting, but we don't know when Mendoza's coming in. But I'm really excited to see Ashton Genty have a breakout year,
and it
I
looks
think
like
that can help.
for fantasy purposes, he's kind of going higher in the rounds.
I was just about to say this is dangerous to hear because in my my main redraft league I pick at 11 and man, after hearing that it's so enticing if Genty's not already off the board to just snatch him at 11.
Yeah.
Don't burn me if I draft you, Genty, please. Come on.
What you got, Steve?
This is a bad one, but I think it's just because he's new on the team. But Drake May and AJ Brown, one for 7, 1 interception through first 4 days. So that's kind of, you know, he's new on the team. They still got to build that, you know,
that chemistry.
AJ running those routes is a different speed. You know, they got to get that chemistry going and stuff. So that's kind of, you know, because I think Patriots could have a big year.
I think so too.
I think they're primed for it. Adding AJ Brown and Romeo Doubs to that offense, I mean, they're adding those weapons just enhances their offense.
It does. I mean, I'm sure.
Give me the rip on it.
Yeah, you know, I wanna look at that and say, yeah, let's go. It's backfiring already. Let's go. But then I'm like, okay, we have over a month until they play. They're probably gonna hash it out and build up that connection. So I can't take too much into it. Like Steve said, he's new to the offense, so it's probably gonna work out.
It's a learning phase, which I think it might. Jamar Chase starting fights.
That'll look good.
Starting fights already.
Dude, he's playing with piss and vinegar, dude. I'm hyped up for Jamar Chase, dude. When you're getting in fights day 3 or 4 of training camp, dude.
That testosterone's flowing. You're fired up. You're ready to go. It's gonna be a good year. Yeah. You're gonna run hard.
And Joe's motivated. Joe's like, this is one of the. I think Joe said that this was the best team they've ever had, so he's feeling good. T. Higgins
makes me a little nervous being a Steelers fan.
Yep. Well, how do you think we feel about seeing AJ Brown and the Bills are always going to be good. So welcome to the club, buddy.
Devon Achane was saying that the offensive coordinator wants to be run heavy. Yeah. I mean, who else do they have, really?
Yeah.
So, no offense to you two, Dolphins, but
realistic,
fantasy value, he's going to see some volume.
Yeah, and I think you're going to see a little bit more of a committee out of that, too, because Ollie's going to be a downhill runner, and not that Achane can't run between the tackles, but he's a little smaller, quicker dude, so he's going to be an outside check down guy, but I really think you'll see a little bit more production out of Ollie Gordon coming into the season running downhill.
Yeah. I mean, it's in any league that I draft Achane, I'm always drafting Ollie as my handcuff, right? Just because, number one, injury. If Achane gets injured, Ollie's automatically up there. But number two, I'm curious about the usage, right? I feel like they got kind of like a Bears run scheme going on, right? You got Achane as like their DeAndre Swift, right? The outside guy, the receiving back, just a speedy dude. And then you got, Ollie, as Monungai, right? That goal line back, just pounding the rock.
Just heading ball down, just tucking in and pushing through.
And so, out of Cardinals training camp, I don't know, I'm assuming everyone's seen this at this point, but for anybody who hasn't, Marvin Harrison Jr. is not looking too hot. We are bearish on Marvin Harrison Jr. Yes. He is dropping balls left and right. It's not looking good. I mean, for a guy that was drafted number 4 overall, he had all this hype coming out of Ohio State. He looked good at Ohio State. Obviously, his dad was an awesome receiver playing for the Colts. And he is just looking like hot ass. And on the flip side, you got Michael Wilson looking pretty good. Now, granted, who knows how often he's going to get the ball when you got Jacoby Brissett and Gardner Minshew and Carson Beck at some point, maybe, going up against, the league's hardest schedule.
That'd be a rough year for them.
Yeah, it's not going to be pretty.
Have they listed the starter? Is it Brissett?
Well, I think it's got to be Brissett because he also signed an extension.
Yeah,
so.
he's got a little contract extension, so.
But yeah, it is not looking good for MHJ. If you have him in a league, it's probably time to drop him if you drafted him. Well, maybe not drop him, but try to trade him for anything that you can get for him
before he starts showing you what he's capable of, because you're not going to get a good trade out.
And stay away from him in F2MX right now, because he might be enticing with a down price, but you might want to pick up a Michael Wilson.
Yeah.
More so.
Yeah, I think me personally, I'm staying out of the Cardinals offense, but if you got to pick one or the other, it's looking like Michael Wilson is your guy to pick right
Absolutely.
now. Yeah.
So Alvin Kamara and Travis, how do you say his last name? Is it Etienne? Is it?
It's Etienne.
Etienne.
Yes.
Etienne. Okay. Yeah, they're splitting backfield reps.
Which is good.
Yeah, so that's a split backfield. Might be a good handcuff.
Yeah, I mean it's hard though because if you take,
tough.
I mean I don't even know what round Etienne's going in.
He's going pretty high. He's going pretty high.
I would expect probably third or fourth, right?
Yeah. Yep.
So if you draft him in the third or fourth, you probably have to draft Kamara in what, like the 7th, 8th, 9th, right? Like if you're lucky, right? Somebody may snag him before that. Mm-hmm. So I don't even know if you can consider him handcuff at that point. You just, awesome. So any other training camp stories that we got going on right now, or?
Andy Reid said rookie wide receiver Cyrus Allen and Pat Mahomes. There's some trust there.
Nice. Okay, so that's good to see because
that is good.
Man,
and Mahomes isn't looking too bad just coming off that injury. He's got that brace, but he might be favoring it a little bit, but he still seems to be. It seems to be working out for him.
Well, that's good. That's
so
good.
Recovery progress there.
I expect that probably the first few weeks of Chiefs games, you're going to see a lot of running the ball.
Yeah,
so if you're a fantasy manager and you got K9, you're probably for the first 4, 5, 6 weeks going to see a lot of good games out of K9. Now, obviously, as Patrick gets back into the flow of actual games, the ACL and MCL are healing up, then we got a chance to see the light show again. And me personally, I would love to see it because, my God, it really makes me sweat whenever I see the Bills in the playoffs, and I'm like, oh my God, they could win. So, hopeful for the Chiefs. All right, let's get into some bold predictions here. So we're gonna make some predictions for different. Or did you have anything else?
Nope. I'm good.
Right.
Yeah, good.
We're gonna make some bold predictions for some awards going into the 2026 season. We're gonna start with MVP. Who you got, Steve?
I'm gonna go Drake May. Yeah, Stafford won it last year. Drake May, runner up, but having AJ Brown, Romeo Doubs, they're gonna get that connection and chemistry worked out. I could see Drake May pulling it off this year. Yeah, they got a tough schedule, right? But that just enhances ball movement. They might be down a little bit. He's going to be passing that ball. I can see him coming up on top for MVP.
Yeah, I can see it.
Yeah, it's not out of reach.
Yeah.
Mikey, who do you got?
Yeah, this is a bold prediction, but I got Lamar Jackson for MVP again.
All right.
Yeah.
Why? Because every year after a down year, statistically, he bounces back and usually plays better. Anytime he drops in that ranking, what was he ranked? 69th this year in the top 100? Yep. So being ranked 69th, I think he's gonna play with a chip on his shoulder, and I bet you Lamar Jackson comes out.
New coach.
Yeah, firing that ball and running that ball down the field.
He's probably fired up a little bit. I mean, sad to hear it. Being a Steelers fan.
Yeah.
And I thought about that, but I just don't want to say it.
Yeah, I get it.
That Ravens team and Cincy's gonna be tough this year.
Yeah, it's our division. We got the Patriots and the Bills, so we're feeling you. It's just we're just straightforward for the 1-16 season, and you're still in like competitor mode, right?
Yeah.
So me for MVP, I know people would probably think that I'm gonna say Caleb, and I would be pretty hyped if Caleb won MVP. I actually have a bet in for him to win MVP, but as we've gone further through the off season, and I'm kind of looking at schedules and I'm looking at situations, I'm going with Trevor Lawrence, dude. I think this is the year. I think this is the year that he puts it together for a full season, right?
Yeah, because he's got them games where he goes off and then they're not very consistent.
Right. Yes. Which was the theme the first half of the year, right? It's like he had some games where he looked awesome, and then it's like the next week he doesn't look so good, right? I mean, I loved his like little drunken goal line run against the Chiefs where he fell over, picked the ball up, and ran it in. That was pretty funny. But the second half of the season, man, he was awesome. And I really think that there's a continuity, right? They're carrying over Liam Cohen as the head coach. I think he's a great offensive mind. This could be an awesome receiver core. I mean, if BTJ gets back on track, he's a stud, right? Then you got Jacoby Myers, Mr. Reliable. You got Parker Washington, who's popping off at the end of the year. And depending on how they use Travis Hunter, if he's specialized to wide receiver, personally, I think he should be more focused on corner than wide receiver. But we have yet to really see where he's going to spend most of his time. Man, they between those four guys, it could be electric on the field.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think this is the year that he puts it together and wins MVP. So, somebody had to have a bold prediction here.
I mean,
I'll take one for the team.
You got to think they have a solid tight end in Brenton Strange too.
Yeah.
So they've got it going on. I like the Jags. I think the Jags are a sleepy team in that division. So.
Yeah, and I mean, if they can just hold it together and just not be so inconsistent game to game, I mean, he's got a great chance.
Yeah. All right, offensive player of the year. So really the best running back or receiver in the league.
So I'm between two, but I think I'm going to go Puka.
Okay.
You got Matthew Stafford throwing on the ball. I don't think Devontae Adams is going to have, he's not going to be number one in touchdowns again. So you throw a couple of touchdowns to Puka last year, I think he beats up Jason. That's my take, because when Devontae Adams
games,
is
and he stays healthy.
Exactly.
One or two games.
And he runs hard, and yes, that when you play hard like he does, you're more prone to injury. So there's a medium level risk of injury there. But you take, which I don't think Devontae Adams is going to have that many touchdowns again this year. They might be throwing Puka more of the ball in the red zone.
It's hard to replicate that.
It is from year to year, but that's who I think offensive player of the year, just because that offense is solid too.
Yeah.
And even their defense. So I mean, they might be up on some of these games, but I think Puka is going to be getting more of the red zone targets.
Yeah. And I might be stealing Renner's here, just because I know where his mind goes. I think we're on the same track. But I think Jahmyr Gibbs.
Oh, you said
I was between two.
That's who I had. I had both
two.
Puka and Gibbs.
But with David Montgomery being gone, he's going to get upside. They got the easiest schedule in the NFL, or one of the easiest schedules in the NFL. He's a stud. He can catch the ball. He can run the ball. He's got breakaway speed. There's just so many tangibles there. It's hard not to. If I'm a bet man, I'm putting a little bit of money on him to win that, just because there is so much upside. And with his division and his schedule,
it's an easy schedule.
He could go for over 2,000 yards. He could go for
easily.
2,000 rush yards, and he could potentially break the most scrimmage yards this season.
Yeah, so last year was a 60-40 split with Montgomery. And listen to this. First in receptions, first in receiving yards, tied for first in receiving touchdowns, second in total TDs, and second in total scrimmage yards. So he's just behind Jonathan Taylor.
Yep.
With 20 touchdowns. Plus, he's going to see an increase in backfield and volume.
Mm-hmm.
So if he could stay, and he's fast. I mean, he can break and take off.
Yeah.
So with him getting just even 8-10% more, like his volume's just going to increase.
Yeah.
Sorry, Renner.
All right, it's a good thing I had a second guy loaded up in the chamber, because as Steve's talking to Mike, Mikey's gonna pick Gibbs. All right, so me for offensive player of the year, I'm going Jamar Chase, man. I mean, it is about time. He just puts up great season after great season. It doesn't even matter if Joe Burrow is injured. I mean, you got old man Flacco out there just ripping balls to him, and he's having 150 yard games with 2 or 3 touchdowns on the game. I mean, he's an absolute game record. Obviously, as I've conveyed several times, I'm much more high on the Bengals than I have been in recent years, because I think they've actually done some work on the defense. So I think they're just going to be more competitive in general. It's not like their defense is like a world eater defense, right? But I think this is the year we give Jamar Chase the credit he deserves. I mean, it's unfortunate. 2 years ago, he had that great Triple Crown season with having the most receiving yards, receiving touchdowns, and receptions. And he just happens to do that the same year that Saquon Barkley goes ballistic, right?
Yeah, right.
So this is the year for Jamar Chase. just because I picked him. All right, defensive player of the year.
Myles Garrett, just coming from
Going
the Browns,
back to
back. What? 23 sacks last year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's now on a better defense, solid team. He's hyped. Probably feels better being on the Rams, because I mean, my prediction, I'll save that for later. But I mean, super hyped. I think he's going to go out and play, show why he deserves it, and I mean, he is a stud. Yeah. I think he goes back to back.
He is an animal, man. I have that same kind of viewpoint of like, oh, he had 23 and a half sacks last year on a piss-poor Cleveland team that was always playing from behind.
Yeah, and they were worried about him, like he really was like the main focus.
Yeah.
But when you got a Rams defense and how good they are,
yeah,
now these teams have to be worried about more than just him.
Yeah,
their eyes got to be on these other defensive linemen and stuff and linebackers that are breaking through.
Yeah, so. he's gonna be forcing balls, so you're gonna get like more interceptions from Trent McDuffie and all that as well.
Yeah.
So talking about corners a little bit, mine's a corner. I think defensive player of the year is PS2. I think Patrick Surtain could be like top defender in the league.
Mm-hmm.
Like Renner was saying, Christian Gonzalez is awesome, but I think that Broncos defense is a little sleepy. I like who they're playing. All three teams are going to air the ball out a little bit with the Raiders getting a new quarterback in both situations, whether it's Mendoza playing at that point or Kirk Cousins, and then the Chargers are airing the ball out with Justin Herbert, and we all know that Patrick Mahomes is going to air the ball out at some point. So I really like PS2. I think he's got a tough schedule. If that Broncos team can push through and win that division, which is very possible, that PS2 could definitely win Defensive Player of the Year.
Yeah,
I like it. So for mine, for Defensive Player of the Year, and I actually just thought about this the other day, I'm going with Max Crosby.
Okay.
All right. Here's my reasoning for this. I cannot see this man not lighting up quarterbacks this year. He's got to prove it, right? Because the Ravens backed out of that deal to get him over to Baltimore. He's got to be thinking in the back of his mind, okay, all right, you didn't want me over some minor little injury, okay, all right, and go out there and just raise hell, right?
Yeah.
And I mean, he's never won Defensive Player of the Year before. He's always great. I mean, even on some of these worst Raiders teams that we've seen over the last few years, he's still just balling out in Vegas. So I'm going with Max Crosby.
I like it.
Yeah.
All right, Offensive Rookie of the Year. Who we got, Steve?
Jeremiah Love.
Okay. All right.
So when you have James Conner, you got Tyler Algier in the back.
Hey, don't talk trash on Pittsburgh and Pitt legend.
All right.
James Conner.
Okay,
man.
James Conner, but he's injury prone.
Yeah.
I mean, can you really? Time after time, there's something wrong. So the one I'm concerned about would be Algier. Behind Love, but I think maybe starting out this season a little slow, working him in there. But I think he's eventually going to be the RB1 of that offense.
I'd agree with that.
Yeah.
Going into mine, again, I don't know where Renner's going, so I'm probably going to take yours again, just because.
Don't you do it, man.
I'm going to go Cardell Tate.
Ah.
I knew it was close, but we've all talked about it a little bit. I'm huge on Cam Ward. I think Cam Ward could be a stud. Giving him a young receiver to build chemistry in.
Yeah.
I think that receiver room, little banged up. I think it's better. They got Wan'Dale Robinson. They still have Calvin Ridley.
Yeah.
But I think Cardell Tate could be a stud. And they got some young guys in there, but I think you'll see his production go up just because of his team around him.
He looked good. I mean, Ohio State, he was a stud.
Yeah. And I've seen clips of him come out, during training camp, and he was looking good. He was looking good during training camp.
Yeah, and you're only going to see progression with Cam Ward too.
Yeah.
Still a young guy in the league. You're going to see he's going to get used to it. Things are going to start clicking.
He was starting to pick it up towards the end of last season.
And hopefully he continues to carry that forward, but who knows? You never know year to year.
It's still going to be a rough year. It's going to be a rough year for the Titans for sure, but I do expect that we're going to see Cam Ward take that next step up, and Carnell Tate, I think they're going to build some chemistry that'll be there in Tennessee for the long term.
Yeah.
So I like the pick. That was going to be my pick. I'm going to go with the other top 10 rookie receiver pick in Jordan Tyson. I haven't personally seen too much out of training camp from him, but I loved him at Arizona, man. I think, me personally, I had him a little bit above Carnell Tate just because I think ability-wise, he's got a higher ceiling, but Carnell Tate's just so reliable, right? But, I mean, obviously, teams are going to be, they're going to make sure that Chris Olave is covered. That should open it up a little bit for Jordan Tyson. So, all right, defensive rookie of the year. This one's a bit more interesting because I think we had some studs from this year's class on the defensive side of the ball.
I'm going to go Sonny Styles. He's wearing the green dot at training camp as a rookie. So he's got a big role in that defense. Plus, he's played safety, switched to linebacker, so he's familiar with stopping deep ball, blitzing, rushing. Mm-hmm. So he's kind of a utility defensive player. He can kind of play more positions,
which Washington really needs.
Yeah. So I think he's going to have a huge year. I think he's going to have a ton of tackles too.
I can see it.
The only thing, I'm just going to bring up one thing. The only thing that scares me about him playing safety and linebacker, I think he's really good. I hope he does really well. But I just hope he's not like Isaiah Simmons.
Yeah.
But I really like Sonny Styles. My defensive player of the year, I think, is Ruben Bain Jr.
Yeah.
At Tampa Bay. I think he was a steal in the draft.
He's got a hell of a motor.
Yeah, dude. And I think he, like we said, I think he's got a chip on his shoulder, and he's going to be flying around. And that Tampa Bay defense, little sleepy. I think he's going to be getting to the quarterback. There's not a ton of good quarterbacks in that division.
Yeah.
He can really rush the passer. I think you are going to see him get a lot of sacks this year.
Yeah, dude, I totally agree with you. I love Ruben Bain. I was a little sad when we didn't draft him after, just getting my pick for Defensive Rookie of the Year taken from us. But yeah, man, dude, he's a hell of an athlete. Him coming off the edge, just absolutely bending the tackle. I think he's going to have a big year.
Agree.
For me, I'm going with the guy that I personally think is like the most surefire pick that was made in the draft, in Caleb Downs. I mean, absolute animal at Ohio State. I think he's really going to be the Kyle Hamilton for that Dallas defense, which they really needed. I mean, their secondary just fell off a cliff after 2023. So, I mean, he can really, I think he can play a good majority of the field, right? So that's why I'm kind of using Kyle Hamilton as the guy to relate him to. Maybe he doesn't have a flashy interception count, right? But man, he's definitely gonna be the start of locking down that Dallas secondary. All right, big one here, Super Bowl matchup.
It's a tough one, but who I have the Rams and Patriots. Rams, I think they got to prove it this year. I mean, Seattle, they're tough, but I think the Rams will get through that with the Myles Garrett upgrade. You got stud wide receivers, Matthew Stafford, a little bit of changes to the offensive line. I think they have a chance. I think they have a chance to run it. Patriots, again, Drake May was my MVP. Plus, you adding A.J. Brown and Romeo Doubs. Plus, they kind of made some changes on that offensive line as well.
Yeah.
So I could see both of them making it and battling it out.
All right, that's a good one. I mean, I think we all can agree the Rams is a solid pick, but I don't want to be solid. I kind of want to throw a curveball in there.
Okay,
a little bit.
all right.
So I want to go the Lions
Okay.
and versus the Bengals.
Lions and Bengals.
That'd be fun. That's a
It is
different.
but that would be an interesting.
I think the Lions have a great defense, like stud defense out there.
Yeah.
And then obviously with Amon-Ra, Jameson Williams, Gibbs, and Goff. I mean, Goff's been to the show before.
Yeah.
So,
And their schedule's looking a little.
and their schedule's looking
light.
So I think if they can build momentum going into the season, I really think the Lions could be sleepy. And like we talked about, the Bengals upgraded a ton of positions.
Yeah.
If Joe Burrow can stay healthy with Jamar Chase and T. Higgins, and Chase Brown's good.
Yeah.
He's a good
great
check down guy.
receiving.
I'm hoping to pick him up.
Yeah, that's
in my draft.
Me too, dude.
Definitely.
That's a little
Blind
sleepy.
pick for you.
It's different, but that's why.
No, that's a good one. That is a good one,
it.
and that's that's like not too far of a long shot.
Because I mean, really, like we said earlier, the Lions have an easy schedule, right? So there's not a doubt in my mind that the Lions make it into the playoffs.
Oh, easily.
I think they win their division, right? Who knows? Maybe with how easy that schedule is and just how electric the offense is, maybe they get the 1 seed. Hopefully they don't fumble it away like they did last time they had the 1 seed. And then the Bengals, man, they get into the playoffs and they get hot, dude.
Yeah.
Joe Burrow gets hot. The defense starts to heat up. Obviously, when you got Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, Chase Brown, that could be an awesome.
I mean, there's some elite players on that offense.
Yeah. So I like that. Do I think that's gonna happen? Me personally, no, but I would love that.
Yeah.
My Super Bowl matchup, I'm gonna have to say the Rams for the NFC, just because I mean they're the super team, right? Especially if they happen to get Aaron Donald back.
Oh, absolutely.
Like even if they don't play him, if they kind of limit his snap count, I mean still having him on your defense it's
intimidating.
Yeah.
That offensive line and stuff is gonna be worried going into those games.
They know who he is and they're like, oh god, he's gonna just absolutely wreck the game.
Yeah, and then they don't even have to just worry about him. Now they got Myles Garrett as well.
Yeah. And you got other guys on that line. Puna Ford, right? So, obviously the secondary, they've done work to patch that up. So the Rams are the super team in the NFC. They're my default pick. AFC, I'm going with the Texans, man. I'm going with the Texans. Listen, the defense was awesome last year.
The defense
was wicked, right?
Yeah.
Will Anderson, Neil Hunter, Derek Stingley, Jalen Petrie. I mean, you just got dudes on that defense who are just wrecking it up, right? Like, I knew before the game even happened that they were going to beat Pittsburgh in that wild card game. What I didn't know is that they were going to commit a war crime on Pittsburgh, in Pittsburgh, to add on to the injury, right? Wow. Anyways, so the defense is still awesome. They didn't really lose anybody, right? And then on the offense, they got David Montgomery. That's a huge upgrade from what they were rocking with last year, the corpse of Nick Chubb and Woody Marks. They made upgrades to the O-line. Is the O-line going to be great? Is it going to be good? Probably not, but at least it's probably going to be closer to... Yeah, it's an upgrade. It's going to be closer to the middle of the pack, right? We got 2 receivers that are in their second year now, so they're more adjusted to the offense. They just need C.J. Stroud to have a Trent Dilfer, a Brad Johnson, a Jalen Hurts. Grab whatever game manager quarterback you want. Emulate them, okay? Just don't turn the ball over.
6 interceptions?
Something
year?
ugly.
The season?
I don't know. I got to a point where I just had to start pounding back beers because I was like, it's disgusting to see. This is disgusting to watch this game. And obviously, I mean, we got some teams in here where that would be their either first Super Bowl appearance or first Super Bowl win. So we're trying to shake up the pot here. All right. Biggest surprise playoff team.
I'm gonna go Colts.
Colts.
Yes, Daniel Jones is back.
Okay.
Jonathan Taylor, Alec Pierce, Josh Downs, and Tyler Warren, who I'm super high on.
I do like Tyler Warren.
I'm hoping to pick him up in the draft. But Daniel Jones was playing damn good ball, especially starting last year. They were rocking some
It's
teams.
just a consistency.
It is, and that's the thing. And I'm hoping this injury doesn't set him back enough to where it's upsetting to see he comes back and doesn't perform.
Yeah.
So I mean, high hopes, and hope he stays healthy. But when you look at it, you got Texans, like you were just saying, you got stud defense, but offense is a little shaky there.
Yeah.
You got the Jaguars. Offense was inconsistent last year, and of course the Titans, young developing team. So I don't think that's going to be too much of a hassle. Jags and Texans that's going to be their problem teams, but that's who I have for surprise playoff team, and I hope they do. I hope they do.
I mean, mine's an easy division. I'm gonna go with the Falcons. I think the Falcons are a surprise there. I like Tua. Tua isn't the best long ball guy, but he's a great check down guy. They got great check down receivers in Kyle Pitts, in Drake London, in Bijan. You put Bijan Robinson. They made some upgrades to that defense. Defense is getting better. They went out and got a couple new corners. So I think the Falcons are my playoff team.
I think if they get that quarterback situation figured out and they're staying healthy, I think they got a chance.
Yeah. So for my biggest surprise playoff team, I was really between 2. I'm going to go with the more realistic one first. I'm going to say the Vikings, right? Obviously, I petition hard for the Bears all the time. Bear down, dude. Let's go. But, dude, the Vikings, I mean, they were literally a 9-win team last year with the most ass quarterback play.
Yeah.
Like, it's a great team. You got a great receiving core with Jettas, Jordan Addison, Juwan Jennings. You got a tight end who's still pretty good, and T.J. Hawkinson. The run game leaves a little,
That's
a little
questionable.
piece. Yeah. It's questionable, but I mean, honestly, when you got that receiving core and a reliable tight end, I don't think it's as much of an issue. Offensive line's not bad, and the defense, man, any Brian Flores defense is just awesome. I mean, they had like the highest blitz rate of any defense. They had great cornerback play from who was that one just random guy who was popping off last year? Isaiah Rodgers, I think maybe. Yeah. So the team is there. They just need a guy to make a few plays and be better than ass, right? And I think Kyler Murray, I'm not a huge Kyler Murray guy, but I think Kyler's like a legitimate quarterback that could get them into the playoffs. Do I think they're going to win the division? No. Do I think they're going to get probably 10, 11 wins? Yeah. I'm very confident in that. My big surprise playoff team, I didn't really want to say it, but I got it, man. I'm starting to get high on them, the Titans, dude. I know you were just dogging on them, but I'm just saying, man, there's always that one team that finished just bad. Finished bad one year, and then the next year they just pop off because of an easy schedule or because they made a great upgrade to the team. I mean, with the Titans, I like their draft. I mean, obviously Cornell Tate was good. Who was the edge they got? Keldrick Falk, I think, right? I think they made some great picks. I think the coaching staff is obviously an upgrade. I mean, let's not forget, Josh Allen sucked before Brian Daboll made him Josh Allen, right? Now Brian Daboll's the offensive coordinator for the Titans. So, I think they're either going to sneak into the playoffs or just barely miss. But I think this is a team that they're going to shock some people.
Yeah, I agree.
So, and for our final one, we have our biggest disappointment. Are we talking biggest disappointment team, biggest disappointment player?
I would say just in general.
Okay.
Team.
All right. Team.
You want to go team?
Yeah, or whatever you guys want.
All right.
I have a team. Now, I don't think, and this is kind of a hot take because I know a lot of people are high on them, and it's the Buffalo Bills, and it is. But I feel like this year, boom or bust in the playoffs.
Yeah.
That's another year after year they're losing in the playoffs, and a lot of people are high on them. Josh Allen is number one in runnings for MVP this year, or he's up there.
I think his betting odds have him at number one.
Number one, yeah. And you got their wide receiver room is like ranked 20th, so they're not super high. So there's a lot riding on Josh Allen, and James Cook as well. So those two, those two are studs. But when you have just I got DJ Moore. Joshua Palmer, right?
Don't forget about Keon Coleman.
Okay, but I did see that he's kick return, punt return. I did see he's taking some reps.
Oh, jeez.
So that just increases possibility for some injury.
Yeah.
When you're running that ball back. So that is a hot take, and a lot of people are high on them. But I don't think they're going to be bad or terrible. I just don't think that they're going to be to the level that people are portraying them to be this year.
I can see that.
So hot take, but that's my take.
Mine. Kansas City Chiefs.
Ooh, okay.
Okay, I could get behind that.
I think Mahomes is really good, but Mahomes coming off injury,
Yep.
Their defense is getting a little older. Travis Kelce's getting a little older.
And a little heftier. He looks
Hey, he's transitioning into guard, all right?
Yeah, but that's what happens when you get married, right?
You pack all the weights.
Yeah. But I think, I think that offense is not going to be as electric. I mean, I know they added K9. Great running back.
Which I think he's going to see some high volume starting the season.
I 100% agree.
Yeah.
But, how's that offensive line going to hook up or handle up? Chris Jones is getting older.
Mm-hmm.
There's some questions there. The receiver core, I like Rashee Rice if he stays out of trouble. But outside of that, I mean, Xavier Worthy's fast.
He's fast.
They don't have a stud elite receiver right now. So I mean, there's just a lot of question marks. I don't think you have to double team Travis Kelce anymore. So that's gonna free up some defenders on most defenses.
Yeah.
And they're in a tough division. I mean, the Broncos,
Good defense.
Great defense.
Yep.
Looked real good last year until Bo Nix went down. The Chargers, Justin Herbert. If the Chargers stay healthy, the Chargers could be a
There's
sleeping
always an
team.
if with the Chargers.
Yeah.
100%. They get hit with the injury bug every year, and then like we said, we're not quite sure how the Raiders are gonna do, but they've upgraded that team. They could come in and play pretty tough. So
They
that
could
really
easily
fucked it
become
up.
a spoiler team.
yes,
The Raiders.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, they upgraded that offensive line too. It's like they really, doubled down to try to protect their passers.
It's like they're an actual football team.
Yeah,
Holy.
right.
All right.
Plus the Chargers. I'm actually high on the Chargers.
I
me
am too.
Me too.
The talent they have and what they can do with that, with Herbert throwing the ball. I mean, I'm really high on them.
Gee, don't get me started on my Chargers glazing, man. Don't get me started. I'm a Herbert guy, man. Whew. All right. The biggest disappointment, again, I have two because I really thought that one was going to get taken beforehand, and I got to list both of these because I can't get down with the Chiefs being disappointed. They got an easy schedule. I mean, I think last year was an anomaly, but in general, I cannot count Mahomes out because 9 times out of 10 he proves you wrong.
100%. I agree with that.
I have two. So my first one is the Denver Broncos. Listen, I'm sorry. They really got lucky in a lot of games last year. They had a lot of teams kind of collapse and melt down at the end of the game. Bo Nix did have some games where he was like, all right, we're down by 3 or 4 scores. All right, I'll win the game, right?
Yeah, like it was like a heroic comeback or something.
Yeah.
But
Down on the wire.
But man, I don't know. Something about it just feels a little off to me. Like, I don't know. I didn't really see any kind of progression with Bo from year 1 to year 2. He was just kind of the same. It's not a bad thing. He wasn't bad in year 1. He was, he was pretty good, and he was pretty good in year 2, right? But I expect with a quarterback that Sean Payton is kind of molding to be his long-term guy, that you're going to make a jump from year 1 to year 2. Mm-hmm. Now, maybe the jump comes from year 2 to year 3. I don't know. I think the defense is still going to be good. I think in general, I don't think they're going to be bad by any means, but I mean, they were 14-3 last year, first seed in the AFC. They would have easily gone to the Super Bowl if Bo Nix was playing in that AFC Championship. I just don't think they're going to replicate that. And I think, personally, the Chargers are going to have a better year than they had last year. I think the Chiefs are going to be a harder team. The Raiders are, they have to be harder than last year. It's pretty hard to not upgrade from what they had last year, right? And they almost beat them in a game. You remember that Thursday night game where they were tied, like right down to the wire, and then the Broncos kicked the field goal and won the game? So I don't know. I think that they're probably an 8 or 9 win team, man. I don't think I can easily see them missing the playoffs. Maybe they get 10 or 11 wins, but it's just not going to be what it was last year, right? Which really sucks for them that their season ended due to injury. But then they probably watched Super Bowl and they were like, you know what? We're good. We're kind of glad we didn't play in the biggest stage of the year against the most dominant defense in the league. My second one, this one I think may come off very hot. The Green Bay Packers.
No, I could get behind that.
I am so bearish on the Packers.
Mm-hmm.
First of all, Micah's not expected to come back until late October, and that defense collapsed without Micah there. Then you got Tucker Kraft, probably their best receiving option.
Yeah.
I'm not really sure what the status is on him, but I mean, he's coming off an ACL injury, and in that position, I mean, he's not playing quarterback. He's not Mahomes, where he's got some leeway where he can, use the running back. He can use the check down game. You're running routes. You're blocking. It's a bit more physical, right? And I mean, Jordan Love isn't bad by any means, but I don't see it, man. He's not Favre. He's not Rodgers. He's not one of these guys in this lineage of great quarterbacks that they have. And Josh Jacobs, what's the situation with Josh Jacobs right now? There's just a lot of weird things happening there.
Marks.
Yeah.
They lost some of their receivers. I mean, Romeo Doubs was probably their best wide receiver, most consistent at least, right? Now he's out. So
Plus, they got to face the Bears and the Lions.
Yeah, I was gonna say they're in a meat
and the
grinder.
Vikings, dude.
They're in a
And the
meat
Vikings.
grinder.
They're in a
division.
tough division, man. So I don't know. I honestly, and this may be super bold, I'm thinking it's a 7-win season for them. I think they
Yeah.
probably They maybe get a win or two in their own division. I think teams without Micah being there for the first half of the season, they can probably run buckshot on him. So, bearish on the Packers. So,
all right.
And we're going to keep these and come back to these at the end of the year and see what predictions we made that actually panned out, or if we just made a fool of ourselves.
Which is possible.
So we will be touching back on this at the end of the season.
Well, awesome. So that is going to wrap up this week's episode of Sidelines to Stock Lines. Obviously we're going to go back to some of these predictions, but let us know in the comments, what takes you agree with and where we are making a clown out of ourselves on some of these predictions. I'm thinking that I'm going to take the cake for most. That's a stupid take. You don't know ball. I'm probably going to receive the most of those, but hey, I'm here for the bold predictions, man. So anyways, make sure you are following us on all the socials. We greatly appreciate a like on the podcast. But yeah, we'll catch you guys in the next one.